Nestle girl, did you get into these medicine wives? Now, first and foremost, bitch, you know a bitch like me, honey. I be down to the bar on a Friday night, but I had me an old nasty lunch down to the bar with the Rich Cosby. I was in search of forever while I was running to Best Buy and Target to do some errands. And because of that, I ate, I drank, I came home, slept, and was married. Therefore, I had no desire to go out tonight unless my neighbor husband called, catch. So I was able to sit down and watch these medicine wives. You got to forgive me because I took my face off at about 4 o'clock and I forgot to wrap my hair up. But this is what I'm giving. At any rate, it ain't supposed to be about, girl, what was that? Girl, a plane had no flew over my damn house. I thought the goddamn Al-Qaeda was about to bomb me. Nonetheless, it ain't supposed to be how I'm looking at about how them hoes looking. So let's just start off like we always do with the reunions. When it comes to the fashions, honey, the fashions, who was in charge of the girls? Let me start out by saying this. In my opinion, the fashions were very understated in this reunion. I was looking at them and it was like there was not a one person that I was like, yes, bitch. I purposely made it a mental note that the last 2 minutes of the show, make sure I pay attention when what everybody got on so we can talk about it. For me, I think Simone gets it for me. Most of her shots, you only saw this on up, the shoulders on up. But when they did like the waist up, I like the whole corseted leather situation that she had going on. Quad looked nice, but isn't that the same jumpsuit that Nene had on like 2 reunions ago? And I know enough of Quad to know that she would not intentionally wear something that another bitch on Bravo did. So I'm wondering, did she know or was, I don't know. That kind of threw me. Everybody else, I'm not remembering. Now, let me tell y'all something. I don't know if Contessa out there trying to start a damn one-piece line or whatever, because she's sticking with it. A one-piece is her story and she's sticking with it. I'm going to tell you something. Sitting down, it didn't look bad. It did not look bad at all. And Contessa had on a nasty shoe. Real talk, I would go up for Contessa fashions, but the lady that I am just would not let me go up for a one piece like that, especially when she been wearing tied one pieces all season. So who is in charge of the fashions with the girls? Jumping right on in, y'all. They started out talking about the kids. That's right. We didn't see none of Toya kids this season. And I mean, I guess they didn't have nothing to give. Heavenly and her sons, Simone and her sons. Like, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people wanted to know what that joke was that Michael said in terms of liking his women vanilla versus chocolate. Now that Simone has had time to kind of clear it up, okay, I'll take it as a joke. He was egging his mom on, trying to get a rise out of her. I get it. But Simone, that shit came off real funky, and you know how this editing and shit go on these shows. You gotta let Michael know he can't be doing some of them damn things. Andy, you know what damn buttons to push. You was one messy queen, because that was a messy ass question to have Toya ask Quad in terms of, does she feel that Quad has done everything and been everything her husband needed? Like, it was smart as hell psychology, because Andy figured it'd be easy for Mariah to say it. We expect that. Let me get somebody she cool with that's gonna be honest. And you know, that's a very sticky situation for the viewer and for Quad. I'm gonna tell you why. Mariah said in one of her clips, Quad, the people think you don't like your husband. Quad, that is the honest to goodness truth. Like, when you watch this show, it looks as if you straight up do not want your husband. It looks like you don't value him. It looks, listen, it is what it is. It looks like that you got with him and you doing a little better for yourself and now you don't need him. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's what the shit looked like. But I'm fair enough to understand that reality TV highlights what they want to highlight and they leave out everything else. So if Greg is doing all of these crazy things or not doing crazy things, like, it's kind of hard for the viewer to be sympathetic to you because we're not seeing it. And we're being asked to make a judgment of you and your life based on what we see on the TV. And all we see is you giving him pushback and not giving in to some of the things he needs. And that's just true tea. Contessa. That was a very interesting scene to watch, Contessa crying about them kids. And while I agree that you can't get them moments back, Contessa, I said this before, you got rich people problems. And I'm just not understanding why this is bringing you to tears so much. Okay, like, I don't know. I just wanted to be a dead point next season. I don't know. Let's talk about the fun shit, though. Contessa, I'm going to have to get your ass together real quick. I did not appreciate the way you tried to sit your ass up here on this stage and make it seem like the issue with Miss Renee was the fact that these other women were being elitist and classist towards her. No, the issue with Miss Renee is that you know she's a down-home kind of woman and you put her in that bougie-ass environment knowing damn well she was not comfortable there because you were trying to solidify your spot on the show and she added extra weight to your scale. That's true tea, Contessa. And so for you to then try to double back and flip it and make it seem like they made her uncomfortable because they were being classist. Listen, Maya Angelou said in Phenomenal Woman, does my haughtiness offend you? Okay, listen. It's not my fault that Renee is intimidated or insecure by the way I walk, breathe, and what I drive. That ain't my issue, it's hers. And if you respect her and love her like a family member the way you said you did, then you shouldn't have pushed that lady to her damn limits. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because we want what we want, and then when we get what we want and other shit fall apart, then we want to cry victim. Because the question I will ask then is, would you be willing to trade your Married to Medicine spot to get Miss Renee ass back? And I'm pretty sure the answer is no. Let me tell you something, baby. There's a price on everything. Your ass gonna pay on the front end or the back end, but that's a girl, you gonna do what? You gonna pay. Quiet as it's kept, you must not even been paying Renee good enough, because baby, had you been paying her good enough, she'd still be good to you. Speaking of paying, Toya in y'all taxes. You know, Contessa was absolutely right in terms of saying, why the hell are y'all having a party for celebrating something you're supposed to do anyway? And I like on the reunion how Contessa said, but it's not like you paid off a home, which is like an accomplishment that we're all striving towards. It's like, bitch, you paid your taxes. That's supposed to be remitted to the government quarterly anyway. I'm not understanding. The thing is, though, Contessa, let's not pretend like in this life and as amongst human beings in a civilized situation, we don't have social order and rules and unspoken things. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, you just go along with it. That's all. It ain't your job to scrutinize what somebody else doing with their finances, because your ass shrinking down to one damn income in your house. You ain't gonna like it every time your ass go to eat a shrimp tempura roll and the girls is counting up how much you eating. So, you know, hold on to your love, Miss Girl, and don't come for Toya taxes too much. Child, quiet as it's kept. The people say the Twitter kept getting Toya ass together and she finally turned over them damn Married to Medicine checks that she was hoarding in her ass. Toya, let me tell you something. You got to suck dick, Toya. You got to do it. And, you know, listen. You know, you got to do it, and you got to do it like this. Like grown lady style. I'm sorry. You sit at home while your husband work all day and your kids is gone for 8 hours. Baby, you got ample time to learn how to suck it, okay? Listen, between YouTube, porn, and the nigga on the side, you got enough time to learn how to suck it. And I'm going to tell you the thing about it is, when you learn, and see, I'm classy. I don't like it with the spit. I don't like nothing about spit. But you get you a little oil, a little Crisco lard, something that don't have a taste. And when you do like this, like I mean, wring it out like this. And moan like fish while you doing it. Oh, you like that? You gotta call him daddy, like Heavenly. Heavenly got that one part right. Baby, you know how to do it like that? He gonna come so quickly and you'll get everything you want and you would have fulfilled your wifely duties. You say you can't, And it's, you know, okay, I'm going to save the rest of that lesson for a later day because I'm about to tell you what you're supposed to do at the end of that and where you're supposed to put it, but we'll say that for another conversation. Nonetheless, that man worked too damn hard for you not to be sucking his dick proper like. Okay? Toya with her weight. Wow. I never knew. And it's funny because as black people, and I don't know if other cultures do it, but we really do Jones on one another about our weight. I'll never forget one time we went to Mississippi. My uncle, my stepmom got out of the car. My uncle was like, oh, so-and-so, you sure get big, girl. Look at you getting big. And while he was joking, and he meant nothing by it, it was a mere observation, when we got in the car, she was very upset. I remember being a kid feeling like she's upset because of what he said. And you never know how people are dealing with their aesthetic on the inside. And so, you know, I never would have known. I definitely wouldn't have known with Toya because Toya walk around like she is the cat's meow. Like she is the shit and the piss. So I never would have thought cracking what I call jokes in passing about her weight would have bothered Toya. But now we see that it does. The question that I have is now that she's expressed that to Heavenly, will Heavenly continue to do it? Heavenly, I'm going to tell you the act that I'm getting over. I'm over the act of you provoking people, bothering people, and then reverting to this, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm on a spiritual journey. I'm a works in progress. Heavenly, here's the funny thing, because I know you for your works. You know all of what you're doing, and you're good at it. Heavenly is making good TV. And if y'all notice, that shit is deflection. So I'm finna call Heavenly on her shit. If I stay in petty spats with people over things I honestly do not care about, that keeps me and my family shielded because I've done my fair share to carry my load on the show. That's another reason why the universe made it so that 5 seasons later, Jackie had an embarrassing ass moment. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not trying to be funny, but it's honestly and truthfully, outside of being classy and pretty, Jackie, in comparison to the rest of the castmates, did not contribute as much to the show. And what do I mean by that? It's unfair that people have to come on and have embarrassing moments and scream and shout and have these old hurtful ass moments. But the reality of the situation is it's reality television. And bitch, you need to do your part. And let me tell you something. I told y'all earlier, you're going to pay on the front end or the back end. Jackie ass paid on the back end. And when you pay on the back end, bitch, you paying interest, fees, and penalties. And that's what this is. Now that she don't have this situation with Curtis, Jackie get a 2 or 3 year respite. You know what I'm saying? Unless she make it a point to do what Heavenly do what Simone do what Toya do. Just give them a little bit, Jackie. Give the universe a little bit each season. That way, you don't be on the radar. I hate to say that people sit back and wait for you to fall, but that's what it was with Jackie. People don't like nobody that's too perfect. People like people who are authentic, genuine, and real. And while we hate that this happened to Jackie, I hate the fact that we as the viewers revel in the fact that we finally got a real moment out of her, even if it had to be infidelity in her marriage. Going back to Heavenly and Mariah, I don't understand why y'all have it out for each other so bad. Like, I got bits and pieces of what went on behind the scenes, but I'm just not understanding. And with my Mariah hating ass, Mariah, it feels to me like you disproportionately have it out for Heavenly than she does for you. I think Heavenly just like riling you up. But I really think Mariah just got a thing about Heavenly, and I would be curious to know what it was about. Now, when they got to arguing and Quad jumped in, Mariah, they told your ass absolutely right. I'm not saying you can or you can't. You can do whatever the hell you want to do on your Facebook Live page, as you've stated. But you can't then double back and not understand why people get mad and want to come for your throat when you and your mama sit up and talk about people like crazy. And I'm sorry, if your mama is off limits, then your mama needs to be out of earshot and view of the camera. And that's just true tea, because at the point in which your mammy is on that video, she's no longer your mammy. She's my adversary, and I'm getting her ass together too. And that's just true tea. That is just, you can't do something shady and unfair to somebody, but then say there has to be rules, standards, and guidelines and procedures when you retaliate. That ain't how it go, baby. I thought it was all was fair in love and war. That's what I thought. Nonetheless, Heavenly writing on the poster. Let me say this. At the end of the day, Heavenly should have walked her ass past that girl dressing room and went to hers. It was Heavenly being childish. It was Heavenly being immature. And if I have to deem someone right or wrong, Heavenly was wrong. Okay? Period. Hard stop. However, all that extra crime Mariah back there doing and all that, I'm not coming back on stage. Girl, you took an image, a 2-year-old image, you ran by Kinko's on your way to the thing, you had a brilliant idea, you blew it up and put it on your damn door, it cost you $5.99. Like, girl, it is not like Heavenly threw a brick through your car window. What is you in there crying for? And then you refusing to film because I know you for your works. That was Mariah trying to make a moment, okay? I refuse. You the one who sat up there talking about grown women shouldn't be doing this and grown women shouldn't be doing that and grown this, that, and the third. But what in the hell grown woman cries because somebody took a goddamn Sharpie and defaced the poster? You know what I'm saying? And then you are in that room, and I love that we got this scene with Mariah in that damn room with them white sissies and everybody else that was in there, because here's this narrative. They just mad because people support me. They mad. Who mad? Everybody on there got a team. Team Quad, Team Mariah, Team Heavenly, Team Simone. Everybody, you ain't getting no more or less support. So what are you talking about? And then you had these people around you that gas you up. I ain't even finna go down that route because I'm a Mariah hater. But I just want to know, Mariah, what in the hell transpired that warranted you having a mental breakdown on the first portion of the reunion and then not coming back out? Like, and I'm gonna tell you something, 48 laws of power and some other psychology tricks I've learned. What you did in essence was gave the silent treatment, right? Oh, somebody made me, I'm not talking to them. What people need to understand is when somebody gives you the silent treatment, that's because they feel powerless in the damn situation. So the only thing they think they can do to one-up you is to not speak to you. Inadvertently, you let the girls know they won. They won. And you can't argue. You ain't got enough arguing points. So you were just like, let me do the last and final. Because think about it. After somebody disconnects from you, you can't go up from there. There's nothing more to do. It was the power play. It was your last card in the deck. And it's like, the funny thing about it is when it's all said and done, I'm assuming you end up coming back out. So it really was a waste of time. Nonetheless, y'all, my tired ass was here on a Friday night watching the Medicine Wives. I don't fucked around and got a hat around the nape of my neck. It was cute or whatever. I would have liked it better had the tea not been spilt about Simone getting a divorce and we actually got to see it on the reunion. But the blogs getting it by whoever leaked it kind of took away from some of the luster. As a matter of fact, I felt it coming. When I looked at the clock and was like, it's a minute left, they got to do some sort of cliffhanger. And because they were in that marriage conversation, I knew that's where they was going. Married to Madison. Y'all hoes got it going on. We'll see what part 2 bring. Nessa girl, I'm finna walk down to the store and get me a bottle of wine and see if I can find me a man that's fine, preferably a doctor. Your doctor, his doctor, anybody doctor, because that's how I'm feeling. And I'll call you later, girl. Bye.